last time I've updated this channel or done a video for this channel was sometime in January last year. We didn't have a lot of time to really focus on it. It was the middle of the season. I wasn't really into the season last year with the teams were just playing one another. I was moving across the country. Lots of stuff going on. This year, a little bit different. YouTube's now my full-time job, so I have time to focus on another channel, watch hockey games, and let's get into it. So, last night I did my power rankings. I know the season isn't over yet, but I thought it would be a cool first video to jump into it, to give my pre-thought power rankings on this season for the NHL. This is the last night of the preseason. Flyers finished up their preseason last night against the Caps. Ovechkin got injured. It was a pretty fun game to watch. I didn't really get too into the preseason. I never really do. But we will talk about my power rankings. I have it all written here. And so let's just get into it. So for the power rankings this year at number one, I mean, how can you not really take this, right? It's the Colorado Avalanche. They're a powerhouse of a team. They did, Joe Sakic did an unbelievable job with this team. Nathan MacKinnon, in my opinion, and many others, is the best all-around hockey player in the world, period. And, he's just so freaking good. They have good defense. They have a good core. And I really like their rookies in Byram and Newhook. These two guys, they look really good. And so the Colorado Avalanche are at number one. I had them last year at number three. And I think I was pretty on point with that. But this year, I think they got something to prove. I think they really are about tired of getting into playoffs and not getting into, the finals and winning. But also, I feel like the Colorado Avalanche deserve a regular season Stanley Cup win. They work so hard during a regular season. They're always the best team. Of course, Tampa is too. And then you got Vegas and, Montreal was good. Islanders. There were so many good teams last year. But last year was so odd because only the teams didn't play each other. They were all playing the same teams over and over. It was kind of weird. After a while, it got a little boring. And but we had to do what we had to do to get some hockey in. But anyway, so number two, I obviously have the Tampa Bay Lightning, defending their two-time Stanley Cup champion rings. I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're a powerhouse of a team. I mean, what really can you say about it? They have everything that you want in a hockey team. They have so many good players in defense, in goaltending, in the wing, all the way down to their fourth line. I mean, they're just an unbelievably good powerhouse team. But so why don't I have them at number one, and why do I have Colorado at number two? Because, last year we did have a short season, right? But usually these teams start to get gassed out, right? They play longer than any other team in the NHL, so that's kind of my reasoning behind putting them at number two, only because they have already won the two Stanley Cups. And generally, in this day and age, teams don't go for a third. But we're not talking about power rankings and Stanley Cup. I'm just talking about the start of the season. I don't think that they're number one. I think that they're still going to have a little Stanley Cup, juice behind them. And I just don't think winning is going to be their top priority, where I think the Avalanche just want to come in hot. And so, but the Tampa Bay, they're still going to be good. So you got to keep them at number two. You don't have to. I really fought between them and the Islanders at three. But I think just because the stacked powerhouse team that they are, Tampa Bay Lightning goes at number two. So that is power ranking so far. We got the Avs at number one. We got Tampa Bay at number two. At number three, I have the New York Islanders. They, Lou Lamoriello, he's just such a good GM. This team's going into a new stadium, which, if I lived in Philly still and I wasn't out here in Iowa, I would be going to a game for sure out there to check that out because I like the Islanders. We will do another video on my favorite teams later. I'll probably do that tomorrow. So you guys, my top 5 teams, we'll talk about that tomorrow. But I like the Islanders this year. I also like the Rangers too. But I'm really interested to see those two teams go at it this year, which is one of the best rivalries in the NHL, besides, in my opinion, the Flyers and like the Rangers or Flyers in Boston, or really anyone the Flyers play that are in their division. They just all hate each other. So New York Islanders, they added some Parise this year. Obviously, they were able to keep another in Belvoir. I really can't say his name great, but we know who I'm talking about. That guy, he's pretty good. That guy that's pretty good at the hockey thing. And they added Palmieri. So New York Islanders, I'm just ready to see them. And I really love that other kid that's really good. What's his name? He skates really fast. That kid that's really good at the hockey thing too. Really fast. Matthew Barzal. Obviously, they added Zdeno Chara. They have Parise, like I said, Anders Lee. I mean, this team is just so good. Kyle Palmieri, adding him. They're just a good team. So, yeah, the Islanders at number 3. They're just going to be, I think they're going to be good. I think they got a good chance to make a good run this year. I even think they got a chance to win a Stanley Cup this season, and that would be awesome for the Islanders. At number 4, we have the team that I hate more than anything in the world, the Boston Bruins. The Bruins, for me, are always just good, and it's annoying. And so it bothers me that I have to put them 2 ahead of my team. But they're just, with Pasternak, with Bergeron, and, Brad Marchant, that Canadian guy. Or is he French? I don't know. Whatever he is, he's good at the hockey, too. Brad Marchant is I can't stand that guy, but he's just so freaking good, man. He makes the right plays. He makes the right decision. He gets under your skin. He's a good player. Boston's just good. I love David Pasternak. I love Patrice Bergeron. These guys are all good. They got Halleck. Got rid of Halleck. Linus Ullmark is going to replace them as a backup. So that's, not bad. That's not a bad little tandem that they have going. And, Boston at number 4. So can't really go wrong there with the Bruins. They're always a good team. They're always a threat. And in my opinion, they're at number 4. Number 5, I got the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas is they're just always freaking good. They're always a threat. They haven't won a Stanley Cup. They've been close. They're just good. They're just a good team. Now they lose Marc-Andre Fleury. I don't think it matters too much because, they have good goaltending. Robert Leonard is kind of a weirdo, I guess, with all the things he's been saying about Elaine Vigneault. When I get at that another video, but not Linus Ullmark. Robin Leonard, and they're just a good team. They have a lot of good players. It's a fun stadium to go to, too. Like, they rarely ever lose a home game because that place is so energetic. And the Vegas Golden Knights, I like that team a lot. I feel like they're going to go far this year. I don't think they're going to win a Stanley Cup, but they are definitely a powerhouse team on the West. Got some teams, but not as much as East Coast teams. The West just isn't a powerhouse of a conference this year. So, anyway, that's my Vegas Golden Knights at number 5. At number 6, I have the stacked up Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a stacked team. They got a lot of good players. They're just, but they're at number 6 because they always seem to just fail. They always just seem to come short, and we'll see if they will have enough talent to finally make it farther in the playoffs. Mitch Marner put a lot of blame on himself for, getting out of the playoffs early. Austin Matthews, he's just a phenomenal player. He's probably the best goal scorer in the world right now, well, besides Ovechkin, but he's just so damn good. And, we'll see what the Leafs do, but I got him at number 6. They didn't make a ton of changes to their roster. They made a few minor tweaks here and there, but the Leafs, I feel like number 6, they're just a good team. Number 7 is my team, the Philadelphia Flyers. I have these guys at number 7. A lot of power rankings have them 8, 9, 10. For me, I got them at 7, not just because they're my team. If it was by that notion, I would have them at number 1, right? But they're just not that. We just don't know. They still have an older core in Giroux, in Van Riemsdyk, and guys like Couturier. He's kind of getting up there. He's still, I think, under 30, but Drew and Van Riemsdyk, these guys are getting older. I love what the Flyers have done with this team this year. I absolutely love it. They have been the most improved team by far in the NHL this year, adding guys like Ellis and Ristolian, and Keith Yandel, Cam Atkinson, great player. He scored a really nice goal last night against the Caps. They also have finally moved on from guys like Brian Elliott and Jacob Voracek and Nolan Patrick. Finally, I mean, these guys just didn't produce. I was so sick of looking at Voracek's face and turning over the puck. And their defense really has to be the best improved defense in the NHL. I mean, I can't wait to see what these guys do in the regular season when you got guys like Ristolainen back there, Keith Yandel, and Ellis. I mean, these guys are good defensemen, and they've all been assistant captain or captains on their other teams. So the Flyers add a lot of core. They have a lot of really good rookies, Farabee and Frost, who they actually sent down. But these guys, this is a good team, and I think the Flyers have a chance to make a good run at the playoffs. Are they Stanley Cup contenders? I think the Philadelphia Flyers, we're not going to really get in the Stanley Cup right now because this is the beginning of the season, but as it stands right now, I think they are a playoff team. And I do think that later in the season, as long as things don't get crazy and, injuries, I think they can make a run. If right now we were starting the playoffs, I think the Flyers have a good chance of winning the Stanley Cup. But we'll see. We're not in the playoffs right now. This is preseason. They look good in the preseason. We'll see how the end roster shapes out. We kind of already know what it's going to be. I love Hayes and Couture. And they just have a lot of good players, and they put them in the right spots. They made a lot of changes as far as the team gelling up together and, getting along with each other and just having players who can bounce ideas off each other or just, not beat each other's throat. I heard there was a lot of rumors last year that guys weren't getting along with coaches and all this crazy rubbish. Who knows if that's just Robin Leonard talking shit through the eyes of the NHL. But anyways, we went down that path a few weeks ago with him, and then, these rumors, and then there's other rumors about, players not getting along with coaches and all this other stuff, and Flyers made a lot of changes, and we'll see. So I got them at number 7. Number 8, the new team in the NHL, Seattle Kraken. Why do I have them at number 8? Because they have something to prove, just like any team that comes in the NHL, except that this team is actually pretty good. They look good in the preseason. A lot of people on paper go, oh, they're okay. I think they're more than okay. I think they got a really solid team. I feel like they're gelling nicely. They've made some really nice plays in the preseason. They've impressed me. New team, new stadium. I feel like they got something to prove. I got them at number 7 as the season number 8 as the season starts. Obviously, this is subject to change. We don't know how this is going to play out in a month. This can change. Every month we'll do power rankings, so we'll see. But the Seattle Kraken, as of right now, are at number 8. Number 9, the Panthers, possible powerhouse of a team. But we don't know with the Panthers because they always just seem to be in Florida with no fans in the stadium. I mean, this team just needs to get out of Florida. Will they probably ever? No. But, they still got Barkov. They just signed him to an 8-year extension. Super excited for him. The Panthers I like. I like the Florida Panthers. They got a cool logo. But they're a possible powerhouse of a team. They got all the right pieces. We'll see what they could do. Next, at number 10, I got the Caps. I had them up much higher last night until Ovechkin got hurt. I didn't have them much farther. I had them at 8 and Seattle at 10, but I swapped them once we found out that there's a possible injury to Ovechkin that's going to keep him out for quite some time. We don't really know yet. Looks like a sprain. Could be worse. I don't know yet. But he's not going to start the season. So Caps are at number 10 with an injured Ovi. So at number 10, even though Ovechkin isn't the entire team, they still have great goaltending. They still have good defense. They're still the Washington Capitals. They're always a playoff team. They're always got the best record. They have the best goal scorer in the world, obviously. And, but with him being injured, how much does that change the team? And, we'll see. At number 11, I have the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, last year, we didn't even have them, and nobody basically had them on the power rankings. But I have them at 11 this year because they got Marc-Andre Fleury, and that's kind of a big deal. He's kind of like probably one of the best goalies in the NHL still. He's not the best goalie in the NHL right now. Obviously, the Tampa Bay Lightning have him, but Marc-Andre Fleury is still really good goalie, and that's going to improve the Blackhawks insanely. They made some moves. We got Jonathan Toews is supposed to have a bounce back year this year. They still got Patrick Kane. They got rid of some of them older defensemen, but we'll see. I like the Blackhawks. I'm going to be watching a lot of Blackhawks hockey this year because I live in Iowa now and not Philadelphia. So that's where I'm at with the Blackhawks at number 11. Number 12, I have the dream team, the Montreal Canadiens, who are going to not be playing without Carey Price for the start of the season, it seems like. But they have, Nick Suzuki is just so freaking good. He's such a good player. They have a lot of good young players, really good young players. They made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. They got beat by the Tampa Bay Lightning. But they just always, why I have them at number 12 and not like 3 or 4 is because, is this just a fluke year and we don't know that yet? And so on paper, looking at that team, it's like, okay, they went to the finals, but just because of that, we can't put them at number 4. As it sits on paper at the beginning of the season, they're at number 12, and that's why I had them at 12 and not higher. But that's subject to change in the first month. We'll see how they play. That could all change if they go 10-1, or I don't think there's 10 games in a month, but maybe there is. If they go 10-1 or 9-1, 8-1, whatever, or 8-3, that can change. But right now, they're just a dream team that went really far into the playoffs, into the Stanley Cup Finals, and we'll see how that goes for them for the rest of the future. But right now, I got the Montreal Canadiens at number 12. At number 13, I have the Edmonton Oilers. Why so low? They got the greatest player ever in Connor McDavid, but why can't they do anything with him? They just seem to never have the right. They just don't seem to make the right moves. Questionable moves with the Edmonton Oilers. They cling on to this goalie, Mike Smith. He's just not that good. He's just not that freaking good. I think the Edmonton Oilers should have went for Marc-Andre Fleury, honestly. They should have just got freaking Fleury. By the way, I really like what the Flyers do with Jones. I like the Flyers adding Jones. I completely forgot to add that. Got rid of Elliott Jones. Anyway, I like that. But I feel like the Edmonton Oilers could have did that and been in a much better position. They got Duncan Keith now. We'll see if their defense improves. They still got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So, but that's kind of it, for them. And for me, at least. But I still have them at 13 because Connor McDavid's a hell of a player, and they are still a good team. And, just Connor McDavid alone puts them in the power ranking top 16. So, next I have the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, the Penguins are obviously always a really good team. They got Crosby and Malkin. Although, Crosby, we don't know how he's going to start out with he's just coming back off of wrist surgery. They still got that center core. They still have great goaltending. The Pittsburgh Penguins they have a ton of good players on that team. But I feel like for the Penguins and why I have them so low into the power rankings is because they're old. They're getting old. Malkin and Crosby and Chris Letang, these are older players. But they do have, and even Jeff Carter. I mean, we have a lot of old players on this team. Brian Boyle, but they have, a lot of good players in Zach Aston Reese. We like Rust. They got a lot of really good players. Drumlin. I like the Penguins, but their core players are old, and that's why I have them so low. I don't feel like they add enough. Pittsburgh and Flyers are kind of in the same boat. They had these older players, but the Flyers only have really 2 or maybe 3 old players as compared. The Penguins are really old. And so eventually they're going to be moving on from these guys, but they're still really good. They still have a lot of good players. So we got them in the power rankings. And obviously this is just the start of the season. As I said, this can change, but as of right now, they didn't make as much improvements as the Flyers did. So that's why the Flyers, I think, are a much, much better team than the Pittsburgh Penguins. Obviously, it would kill me to say that otherwise. Next, I have the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars, powerhouse of a team too, but they just also seem to be just missing some pieces. They kind of always fall apart. They're out there in the middle of freaking Texas. So, I like Dallas, but I just don't know what to really say about them or make about them just yet. With the addition of Brandon Holtby, who just always seems to be a mess since he left the Capitals. But he's still a good goalie. And we'll see if that improves the team as far as, we don't know is he going to be number one or yeah, I'm not sure, but we'll see in the power rankings when we go over all the 32 NHL teams and their finishing rosters when that comes out later on this week. But before the season starts, we'll do that. Next, I have number 16. I have the St. Louis Blues. This is a team with that, honestly, the Stanley Cup champions a few years ago. Kind of looked like it was a fluke run, but they still have Jordan Bennington, who is a phenomenal goaltender. They add Brandon Saad this year. They got some depth. They got some really good players in Tarasenko and other players. We're not going to get into the whole team. We'll do that in another video. But, honestly, the St. Louis Blues, I really like that team, but I just don't feel like they have everything right now to go farther, and we'll see if my power rankings change and how much they change at the end of October. But St. Louis Blues at number 16, we'll see if that changes. I know they're a playoff team. Obviously, power rankings, these are all the teams that could possibly make it into the playoffs if they were going to happen tomorrow. So we'll see. St. Louis Blues at number 16. And my honorable mention, I got to mention my honorable mention because the New York Rangers are my second team this year. And I love the Rangers this year. I absolutely love Shesterkin. I love Kakko, Strome, and I love this team. I love what this team has done. I like the Rangers. I feel like that's going to be my honorable mention. Are they good enough to make the playoffs? We'll see. Is it going to be a good team? We'll see. They didn't make the power rankings. I wanted to put them in so bad, but I just didn't feel like it was between them and the Blues were tough. But I feel like the Blues just have a better team than the Rangers because we don't know. We don't know what the Rangers are just yet. But we know they have a lot of really good key players. We'll see how it plays out for them. They got good goaltending. Last year, so-so. But we'll see with the New York Rangers. I got them as honorable mention. So that's it. That is my power rankings for the 21-22 season for the NHL. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Like, share, subscribe. Please share the video. That really helps. This is a brand new channel at 22 subscribers. My other channel has 14,000 something, 500 subscribers. So it's really difficult to build these channels up. The best way to do it is to share. Again, I love you all. Have a great rest of your week and have fun watching some hockey. See you guys.